Okay. Finally, no issues. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of En-Syte. I'm your host, Steven, joined always by my lovely co-hosts.
What's up, y'all? This Shay. Diamond. What's up, y'all? This Shay.
Okay, whose volume is up?
I hear echo. I don't know why. That was my bed.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm gonna say someone's volume was up, so like, yeah, that's gonna cause some issues right there. Okay, good. No technical difficulties. Thank you. The setup is still the same how it was last week, which is a little bit better. This is basically a nice little setup that makes all of us nice and even. The only difference is I'm horizontal and they're vertical, but other than that, it's the same size.
You look big.
Because I'm horizontal. Y'all vertical, there's a difference. Like you want look here, hold on. See, the thing is about being live, you can do stuff and miss the being live. See, look, now I'm a little bit smaller.
No, I don't see no difference.
There's a difference. I don't care what you see. I seen the difference. I seen myself shrink. Other than talking about the camera issues right now, we're going to go ahead into discussing a topic that is, I'm not going to say,
Near and dear to my heart.
okay, it's near and dear to Diamond's heart, but it is a very, very strong topic. It has been going on for who knows how long. And crazy enough, this was my very first episode back in August of 2017. Crazy. Now we went on ahead and Shay went on and asked her people on her Snapchat about this same topic in terms of what the feedback she got from them. She put a couple of those comments up. We'll get to those in just a moment. But just to let you know what we're talking about, we're talking about child support. Okay. Now, we already know what child support is. It's a broad range of things. It's very different circumstances depending on the person that you're having a kid by, how many kids you got by the person, how much you make, how much they make. Just it's all these different variables in terms of it. So we're going to try and cover as much of those different variables as possible and as best as we can unbiasedly. So before we get into it, we're going to go ahead and read some of the comments that Shay put up from her people on her Snapchat. One of her friends said she thinks that both parties should pay as long as there's a sole watcher for the child, whether it be man or woman. There should be stipulations on how the money is spent. That's a good way of putting it. As long as there's at least one parent, because more than likely there is always that one parent that is mainly watching them, unless you got one of those. We're not going to get into them, but we all know that type that don't really watch the kid. But
What? No, what?
don't.
It's not watch your kid. It's for raising.
Raising. Okay, there we go. Raising. Sorry. You have those that don't raise their kids, but they still will collect the child support and all that stuff. So that's a little different right there. So that is a completely understandable comment right there. You want to read the next one, Shay, you typed up?
Okay. He also mentioned that it should be tracked. I agree that it definitely should be tracked because you got people that's irresponsible with their finances. And so they're saying child support is like, all right, well, I did frivolous with this money. I'm getting child support, so that's going to substitute this. Nah. So I agree with the track. He said the payment should be between 5 to 30% of a person's income, depending on how much they can afford. Legally. That is a right.
Legally, yes.
Yes. That is correct.
That is
Legally,
that is.
It's based upon how many children they have. That's the only way that percentage comes.
Yes.
Nothing else. However, another Snapchat friend said he like there should be no child support. And
well,
right.
Speaking for someone who doesn't have any kids, I completely disagree with that. Full blown disagree with that. If it took two people to make the kid, it should take two people to raise the kid. Plain and simple.
True. This is definitely true.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
You okay? I agree with that one. Another Snapchat friend said both male and female should be able to receive it. I also agree with that because before they changed the laws, legally, only women was receiving child support.
Yes.
Men was not receiving child support.
Yeah.
Shout out to Halle Berry and her dude. Because if it wasn't for Halle Berry going through what she was going through, men would not receive any child support. They will still be in the favor of the female.
Yes.
So I definitely am grateful that at least the laws changed in that realm. OG from Instagram, she said both parties should be able to receive child support. The money should be solely spent on the child, not for the mother to get her hair done. When it comes to child support, people misuse child support. Child support is specifically what it says, child support.
Exactly.
Child support is not for you to maintain your lifestyle. That is what spousal support is for. I'm so tired of these women who are on child support taking these kids' money and doing things that is not in support of the child. If you want to fight me or argue with me about that, bring it on. However, there is a difference. There is a difference. Spousal support is to support your lifestyle,
I'm pretty
not
sure.
child support.
I am pretty sure that there's a fair amount of people who agree with you, and I'm gonna let you know I'm one of them. I agree with that full wholeheartedly with you, Shay, because that's the thing. Yeah, because there are people out there, and that's basically where the whole men don't want to pay child support kind of in a way comes from, because they know that they want to provide for their kid, but legally they can only do so much. They were like, okay, you can't. They like the court said you can only see your kid when supervised on every other weekend. So I'm like, okay, I only get to see my child once every other weekend for a supervised amount of time, and then I still have to pay like $400 a month. And that $400 a month. Yeah, I'm gonna say it now. Well, okay, I'm not gonna say supervised. I'll take away supervised. I'm gonna take away supervised and just say like they only get to see them like every weekend or every other weekend and stuff of that nature, rather than it's okay, to see them every day, like how it should be. And due to the fact that they are now paying $400 a month, and that $400 is not going to the child in a sense, but it's going to, as they say, clothes and hair and nails of the woman who is responsible for it. And then they do all those things to keep you from your child and threaten to use your child to get more money. That is one of the reasons why I believe that some men, not saying they don't want to pay child support, but they are so hesitant to want to pay child support. And true enough, yes, if you did make a child with a woman, you should help raise that child. Amen. To the best of your ability. You should help raise that child, whether the fact that you are with this person or not. The thing is, the relationship may not last, but the bond between a father and their child should be forever. And that's basically what that should be. If you have to pay by law the allotted amount, depending on what it is, depending on where you at, because we know different states have different child support laws, like a motherfucker. But depending on where you stay, what it is you do, how much you make, blah, 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 yeah, you're going to be by law to pay a certain amount. If you pay that certain amount, and you are still able to stay on your own 2 feet and things of that nature, you should be, I believe that by law, you should at least see your child a little bit more than once every weekend. If you are still able to support your child through these law enforced means, and you do it without issues, by doing it on time, you're paying the right amount on time, you're treating it like a credit card bill, basically. And you don't want that credit card taken away. You should be able to see your child a little bit more. That's just my opinion. Others might think differently, but that's just what I think about it.
I got mixed issues. Only because I'm a parent and I dealt with child support. Okay. I was lost when my son was 16. Now,
Child support. All right, different mixed issues. First of all, let's just say child support is 25% for one child within 10,000. Now, I really believe that if you can go without being in the system period with child support, man, I definitely do so. Um, Child support is specifically for the child.
Yes.
Like, definitely, like Shay said, like, it ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. But what gets confusing is, like Shay said, like, getting your hair done, getting your nails done. Oh, I'm spending this money just, like, I'm going to the club, I'm about to have a drink, like, that thing.
Yeah.
I don't do that. Like, I don't. Period. Child support goes specifically on the child. Me, my child, exactly what my child support is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I did.
Paying bills and different issues like that, I still believe that's what the child support is for. Our child is staying with me. I'm providing a roof, I'm providing food, I'm providing everything. There's doctor bills, child care, everything. Me and some of you don't believe that that's where it's supposed to go. It's like, if you tell me you need to be on your shit and, like, you be paying your bit, like, no.
No.
It doesn't always work that way. It's different situations with different women. Like, them not having that second income in the house, that could be hurting.
Yeah, because that's actually what it should be. It should have been two incomes coming in. It's a huge difference if you have, which I looked this up and everything, and I looked this up in terms of child support. They did everything off the average. They say, like, if the woman makes about $45,000, the man makes $55,000. Now we already know right off bat there's $100,000 that's in the house. With one of them out of the house, that literally cuts household income in half.
Absolutely.
In half. So yes, child support should be able to go to any form of bills, to maintain a house, to maintain that the child has a roof over their head, clothes on their back, of course, food in their stomach. Yes, I say you can use child support to go grocery shopping for food for the child. You should be able to use that for medical bills for the child, because it's for the child and it's for the child's well-being, to make sure the child is well off and healthy. That is the key point.
Absolutely.
For those who think that otherwise, like, no. Like, what else is you going to use this money for? What else is this money for? Exactly. It's to support the child. It takes a lot to support a child. Whether the fact that you are involved with whether the fact that it's a 2-parent household or a 1-parent household, it takes a lot to support and raise a child. And to understand that due to the fact that it started because people said they do not want to take care of a child, these laws have been put in place to put people in their place to make sure that they do what is necessary to pay to support and raise a child that you have made. It's just like who was that one recent rapper? It was all over Facebook. It was all over Facebook. He just had his 9th child, and he is ordered to pay, I don't know if this is true or not, but he ordered to pay $53,000 a month.
That's probably Future.
Oh, Future.
Delisa. Did I say that name right? That's pretty.
Yeah.
Delisa. Thank you.
Yeah. Basically doing $53,000 a month. A month. That is some people's annual income, actually higher than other people's annual income.
Real quick. He might be my baby dick.
The nappy kid number 10 for him.
But I mean, you gotta understand, he make a lot of money, so of course, that would probably be it.
Yeah. And the thing is, here's the thing, you pay based off of where you stay. And that's the crazy part. You pay more if you stay in a different state than somebody else who is in the same situation as you, who stays in a completely different state that has basically a lower percentage of payment. Because I actually looked this up, and I actually all 50 states have almost completely different average payments based off of child support. And it's all based off of the percentage is somewhat based off of cost of living, as well as the situation at hand, but it's more so the cost of living and what type of job you have. The top 5, I would have not guessed 3 of them being the top 5 in terms of the average monthly child support payments. And it's crazy how high that they are, that someone has to pay, that there's someone or more than one person in each of these states that has to pay possibly this crazy amount per month because they don't want to help raise a child, probably. Oh, man. See, Giovanni says, what about grandparents putting parents on child support, even though the parents get the child every weekend and buy clothes and shoes and ship those things to the grandparent house, and it wasn't the parents' choice to have their child taken away? Oh, that's a thing? I was unaware of that one. So grandparents can put.
Grandparents, I don't know. But I mean, they're taking care of the child.
Yeah.
So, but okay, grandparents are taking care of the child. But then she says, even though the parents get the child every weekend and buy the clothes and the shoes.
So it's
different because what she's saying is the parent is still taking care of the child.
Yeah.
Buying clothes and shoes, but still, I guess you still got to put in the same.
No, what you take from that, Shay?
Put in the same context as the grandparents are still raising the child. What you got to understand is they're still raising. They're putting the home, the roof over the child's head, feeding the child, like medical. They're raising the child. I get the I still get that. I don't know. It's just different views, but I just feel like the grandparents are still raising the child.
Okay. But I guess more so along the lines is, should the parents have to pay the grandparents even though they are still in a sense supporting the child with necessary things and still spending time with their child? Should they still have to pay the grandparents?
I say yes. And you know why I say yes?
Why you say yes?
Because they're still raising. I still say yes because the child is still there. The child still, it could be child care or anything else that could go toward. But it's just mixed feelings because Giovanni's still saying that the parents are still actively there. But that's the same thing with like it being a husband and a wife. Like the husband ain't there. Like he's not there.
Yeah.
But he's paying child support and he still does. There's still extras. We're talking about a child, and it's still gonna be something that the child support ain't gonna cover. I don't care how much child support is taken, it's still gonna be something that's not covered. But that's just the way I feel about it. What you think, Shane?
Yeah.
To get the correct answer so you won't be led wrong, I highly recommend that you do some research on your state child support laws, because whatever we say on this podcast, some could be right, some could be wrong, but they will go specifically based off the laws of your state. That's just what it is. People can say, oh, yes, we do agree that you should pay child support to the parents, to the grandparents, because they're raising your child, even though you're still active. It's mixed feelings. My recommendation, go call somebody. Just go call somebody that knows the law in your state. Because that child lived with that, say for instance, we got parents, okay? The father decided to leave. the child decided to stay with the mother. The father is still an active individual in that child's life. So you guys are saying that pay child support to the mother because that's where the child is living, and still the daddy's supposed to still actively take care of this child. Then why is the child father limited to visiting a child? Why is the child not going to spend more time than just the weekends or every other weekend with the child? Something is going to have to give. There's going to be some compromise. Either you do something with this child support or you fully give me my child. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
Andre said, my
I'm
experience.
definitely understanding with her on that issue because I sort of kind of get that issue. Like, we were court ordered to have like that. I had a restraining order, but we were court ordered that he would get my son every weekend for maybe like 4 or 5 years straight. Maybe I say 6. He probably said something like maybe, I would say out of 6 years, I would give it count 10 times. And he said maybe about 10 minutes. So again, I completely understand that if the parents are willing to do so, but I get it. So I had to get full custody. That's just what it was. So I completely 100% agree with that. Like, that's just what it is.
Okay. Andre said, my experience is this. I was paying $290 every 2 weeks. Also, my child was on my insurance, which by itself was $60. But with my daughter, it's $130. Dre also says she would get mad at me if I didn't buy my daughter a pair of shoes and then want to go back to child support. Also, my child is mad at me believing I'm not doing nothing for her. Okay, yeah. Now that's rough right there. That's rough right there. Because that could be a part in terms of like if you growing up and you really don't see your other parent that much, the parent that you're living with could, in a sense, manipulate you into thinking that and turn you against that parent, and that can in a way can make that parent like want to really try more and pay more. Just like, look, I am doing this for you. Look, I'm doing, and that's a hard thing to do, and that's a hard thing to swallow, especially if you're only making so much. If you're not making enough to cover that, but you're doing your best to do what you can, that's rough.
And a lot of people is forgetting that child support is for absentee parents, not for active parents.
Mm-hmm.
When there is an absentee parent, that's what the child support is taking place for.
True. It is.
And in some situations, people tend to blur that lines of spousal support and child support. That's just what it is. Them lines is always blurred.
Because
legally, and I'm gonna say this very forcefully, and if you want to fight me, you can. Legally, there is a difference.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
Because spousal support is for lifestyle. Child support is for the child's lifestyle.
It is.
Period.
It is.
Because a lot of people, if you sit back and look at the percentage, when it comes to child support, and it's supposed to be solely for the child, a lot of kids out here pulling student loans out for those parents who have their significant others on child support. Why, if you have your significant other on child support, why is your child sitting up here pulling out student loans? Why was there never any money from that child support that you was receiving? Why is it not put up in no savings account? Why no interest was put on that money?
Ain't no telling.
It could be that the parent, like, it goes along with if they was like together and that, like I said, 50% of that income is cut, is like bills. 2, I feel like with the whole child support thing, like about being active and inactive, I believe that it's for the inactive parents too, but it's still for the active parent as in justice, they don't have that relationship where he's just giving the money, like, okay, I'm gonna give you this much when I get paid, and like consistent. I still feel like even with the active parents, with their family, they're like, okay, I'm gonna be on child support and it's support for the child. What makes the complications is the ones that don't use it for that reason. Like I hate to see parents just get all of this child support, and I see them. And when I tell you that the club sharp, I mean sharp. Drinks, bad drinks for them, their friends, and all of this. And then you see the child, and they dirty as hell. I hate that. I swear, dude, my child has never walked out the door. I could be dirty as hell, which I'm not, but I'm just saying I could be dirty as hell. My child will never, ever, even to this day, my child will never be dirty. There's no way possible. I do not like to see that. I don't like to see that. These kids be dirty as hell. I hate to see it. Dirty shoes and all kind of all kind of nice shit, expensive name brand shit, and your child walking around in Walmart, which I have no problem with Walmart, but it's just like you wearing $300-$400 shoes and shit, and the kid is like, what? Like, I don't get that.
Yeah.
That shit bothers me.
Yeah.
It bothers me.
I get you. Giovanni asks, does child support have to be a must? For absentee parents, yes, it should be a must. You should be required by law. If you are not,
Don't drop time.
Yeah.
Is child support a must? I would say yes if the child isn't with. Yeah, I mean it is. It is in certain situations, but I would only say it's active. It should be active if the child is not living with you.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Okay.
Yeah,
okay. All her comments are in one.
Some type of support should be arranged. What do you think about that, Shay? Some type of support should be arranged.
Okay. What was the question?
Wait. That whole thing is a comment though. It's not just that one question. It's actually a whole thing. It's like broken up into two parts.
Okay.
So it says, so there is no option to have a verbal agreement with the parents of how much money the grandparents would like to have to support the child. The parents would gladly pay whatever their grandparents want the parents to pay. Does child support have to be a must? No, if y'all actually come to an agreement.
No, you gotta agree.
Yeah, if you have an agreement and it's an agreement that you and the grandparents are okay with paying, then yes, you can do that. Now, in some cases, a contract can be drawn up that can be legally binding. It's not saying that the courts are involved or a lawyer is involved, but still it's a legally binding contract which you have to follow. You have to pay it, and there's a thing when it comes down to things like that, it's good to always have receipts or things of that nature. If you have to, just do money orders. At least that way you have a way to track what it is that you've done. You do it that way, or you can, if you have a bank account, you can just do, if you can, transfer funds. If y'all work with a similar bank. So if y'all both work with the same bank, you can try and transfer funds from one account to the other. That is a way to also keep track of what it is that you're doing. Just like it was saying in one of the comments that Shay put from one of her people from her other social medias, that keeping track of it is a thing to do. Keep track of it. Always keep track of it. If you keep track of your receipts from you going shopping at stores and shirts and stuff like that, you're ready to return, this is something that's way more important to keep track of, because you don't want to make it seem like that you are not doing what you're supposed to do in terms of the contract agreement between you and your grandparents or you and the other parent of the child, because you can do that either way. And it really actually is a better way, in my opinion, is a better way to do it, because you're not binded to pay a particular percentage of how much it is that you make, because it's a big difference if you are making, say, $2,000 a month and you only paying, we'll say like $200 a month for the child or $300 a month for the child, versus you making $2,000 a month and having to pay probably 25 to 30% of that, which is close, which is what, about $500 to $600 a month. you know, or based off of the legal standards of your state. Because if you stay in one of the, I'm looking at these numbers of these states of they monthly fee of they monthly amounts on average, and this is on average. So it might be a little bit lower, might be a little bit higher, but still, the averages are crazy. The lowest average is $400.
$400 for what?
$400 a month. Doesn't matter. I mean, like that's the average. So it might be a little bit higher, it might be a little bit lower, but it's still based off of cost of living and how much you make. The lowest one is $400 a month. So if you're doing $200, if you're doing anything less than $400, you are basically getting away with child support in a sense, as long as you keep on track with that contract. As long as you keep track of what it is that you pay, then you should be fine. Now, if you are making payments and then they say like, okay, you know what, this ain't enough, we're gonna take you to court. Take that contract to court with you. Take everything that you tracked to court with you, showing that you made every single payment, every payment on time in full amount. The courts cannot put you on child. As far as I know, as far as I believe, they should not be able to put you on child support because you have a legal binding contract that has not been broken. That's just like your cell phone. If you pay your cell phone on time, you good with your contract, right?
Right.
Like if you don't make payments on your cell phone and you by contract, you have to pay it on time. If you stop making payments, they're going to charge you for that phone that's attached to your bill. And they're going to send your stuff to creditors. Contracts are a major thing. And it could actually be more beneficial for you in this particular situation, in my opinion. I believe it's better. What do y'all think about contracts?
With this particular sensitive situation, I always tell the people, research your state laws, because like you mentioned, which is factual, every state has a different percentage.
Mm-hmm.
And the percentage change based upon the child,
Mm-hmm.
how many children you have. Once you find out what the state requires as a law for a percentage of a child payment or child support, you draw up a contract stating that this is what the law requires. And if that doesn't happen, that's when you guys kindly come up with an agreement. Do not do a verbal agreement. A verbal agreement does not hold up with anything.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Right. Read that comment.
It says, y'all a little feisty today. Do we need to...
That's why I started laughing.
Oh, I cannot with him today. But because we don't want to sit up here and give you the wrong information.
Mm-hmm.
So, all I'm going to tell you, and it's the best advice because I didn't see this work out for people who follow instructions. Research your law, because once you find out what the law is, you can use that as an advantage. Draw up a contract, come up to an agreement stated in the contract, get signatures, and keep track.
Yep.
You will lose if you decide to do anything other than researching and educating yourself. If you don't do neither one of those, you're done.
Yeah.
They can ask for whatever they want, and you will never see your child ever again if you do not follow them.
Listen to her, y'all. She studies law. Y'all better listen to her. She studied law. But yeah, like most of the things we talk about, unless we know it for an absolute fact, everything that we're saying is solely on our opinion based off of situations that we have seen or heard. Unless we can actually say it's for a fact, please understand that everything that is stated in this episode, because this is a sensitive subject, as Shay says, is not 100% factual. These are mostly our opinions based off of some circumstances and situations. Just letting that be known.
Okay, read the next comment. I really want to understand it.
Okay. It says, is an absentee parent and a removed by the payee parent the same thing, though? There were efforts made to make the scenario fit in order to justify what the payee lacked in drive. Once again, I'm telling y'all where to go to get the right information so you will not get screwed in the end.
Let's see. Is an absentee parent and a removed by the payee parent.
Okay, so absentee parent and removed by the payee parent. So meaning an absentee parent, which could be
Okay, I get what that's saying. I get what that's saying.
By the payee parent.
So basically, the parent who is removed, the parent who's receiving child support, removed the person who is supporting the child out of their life.
Okay.
And is not allowing them, in a sense, to come into that life to support their child. And they are still, and the person who is put on child support making efforts to fit the, as they said, fit the order to justify the payee lacked in drive. Basically, the payer was removed by the payee. So let's just say like the father was put on child support and the mother was the recipient. So the mother removed the father from the situation, and in such, the father wants to support their child the right way, but the mother is not, in a sense, allowing them to. So is that person who is removed by force the same thing as an absentee parent? That is what I believe that is asking. Not 100%, but that's what it sounds like.
If they was put on child support and they received letters and got served that they was put on child support, they still have an obligation to pay that child support, whether they was removed forcefully out of someone's life and still wants to help with the child. That child support obligation still must be met because that was done by law.
Right.
Once a person gets your social security number and they put you on child support, that is no longer in either one of y'all hands. That is strictly controlled by the law.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Now, if you still want to keep in contact with your child, the best way you know how, send letters. Make sure that child know that they love you, regardless of what's going on between the parents. And even though the mother did remove the father forcefully, just make sure that child loves you. Because at the end of the day, with situations like this,
they're just, okay, so the question is, out of all these situations that we're reading, they're just asking, is it right? Is it right for it to happen? Not talking about anything legally, but is this just something right as a stand of morals?
Oh, absolutely not.
Is it right?
Guess what? Guess what? Everything in this world, lynching wasn't right, but it still was done. Rape wasn't right, but it still was done. Molestation wasn't right, but it still was done. People being falsely put on child support, knowing that they did not deserve to be put on child support. That is morally wrong, but it still happens. Whether it's right or wrong, you still have to make sure that your kid is taken care of. Your child is a priority.
Most importantly.
Yes, absolutely. I agree.
I agree. Most importantly, but again, that's the main focus. The child is important, like regardless, and like it be in these situations that it's so much confrontation because of them paying child support, and then they'll walk away like I don't want shit to do with you or the child, like like that's what's hurt. So like Shimani said, make sure the child knows you love them. This don't got nothing to do like with you and that child. Like this don't have nothing to do with that. Like make sure the child knows that they're loved.
That's how a lot of people leave this world. When a child is unloved, the Lord takes them away. Period.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And an old school person told me that.
And yeah, this is a crazy world we live in. It very, very much is. It's surrounded by a lot of mess that we have control over, but yet we have not gained control of. That's the bad part about
it. Ain't nothing. It's not in our objective in this world is not to control it. We are supposed to live in it and prosper in it, and not control it. And living and prospering ain't got nothing to do with control. True. Let's talk about the good part of child support, because apparently this bad and this ugly got endless stories.
Yeah, it does. Now, the good thing about child support is the simple fact is that there are people out there who refuse to want to take care of their child. And that is basically the stereotypical deadbeat dad.
Absolutely.
And which is completely understandable. And I completely agree with the fact that every one of the men, or now the law has changed, that women who don't want to take care of the child, who don't want to say, like, I'm not taking care of my child, I'm not paying for it, it's good that they are legally bound to pay a certain amount. And if they don't, every time, just think about it, every time they file taxes, they think they're getting their money taken away. Every time.
Absolutely.
Every single time. And that is a good thing about it, because that means, in a sense, that there was actually a parent who was using this money for the child and making sure that the child is well off. And like, look, even though, you know, the other parent is not around, I'm here with you. I'm going to make sure that you do the best that you can do. I'm going to make sure that you grow up to be whatever it is that you want to be, and make sure that you have the best I can possibly give you based off of the situation that we have before us. And that is the thing. We have to make sure that all of that culminates into the child, and that is what that parent is doing. So in the end result, yes, the very good thing about child support is the fact that we know that there is a child out there, or children out there, that are being supported very well, and by someone who knows how to manage the funds that's coming into the house. Even though they have a job, yes, they're getting paid a good amount, and they can actually provide for their child alone. These extra funds, shoot, that might go into their college fund. That might go into, you know, like, okay, you in a private school, okay, this is for these books, or whatever the case may be, whatever it is you're trying to do, that money is for that, and you will grow up and you will have that. So that's completely understandable. That is a good thing about the whole child support thing. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with putting anybody on child support who does not want to take care of their child, men and women alike. Basically, plain and simple.
I normally don't speak about my child's father, because he ain't shit, and he ain't shit, but I've never did that in front of my child, you know, like him being younger and stuff like that. He's grown now, so he'll do that shit. Again, it just goes into this like man, this conversation just like hits the heart. It's like, when I tell y'all, my son's father makes great, he makes great money. My child support a month, I don't even want to discuss, but for one child, like I said, I got ate up so bad, like back with the family. It was just ridiculous, you know. And they like, look, you obviously can't be spending all that money on the child. How? Like, you see how this child living? Like, that part of the shit, it just got it. So once you start speaking about family being involved, like, it gets deep. Like, I really feel like child support is for the child, especially when the father don't want to do shit. Like, oh, I just lay here and fucking here and just baby about my fucking self. No, I mean, I don't think so. Like, that's just not how shit works. Now, to this day, you know, pretty much like, not saying. I'm like, yeah, listen, Jesus is my baby kid. Like, I'm not, no, I don't have no child father. I just say that. Like, he ain't shit. He did not want to pay child support. Like, he had all this money. You didn't want to support your child? Like, come on, man. Like, I just don't get it. It is.
Diamond, wait, hold on. Hold on, Diamond. Diamond, hold on. We're supposed to talk about the good side of it. We already talked about the bad and the ugly part. We're talking about the good parts of it.
My child take care. My child was taken care of because I was there. You know, another note, I was saying, there is no spouse support in India. So like, I told him to take care of my child before I got child support. I was doing it by myself. Like, there was no child support after being married, and that income was cut. That was it. Period. There, you know, so I definitely commend the mothers. Let's just say I commend the parents that do. Not only the mothers, because it's not only the mothers, it's the fathers as well that are taking care of their kids without being in the court system and the justice part of it, dealing with it. And, you know, like, I definitely commend those parents. Do I think that the ones that are paying child support, which are still with doing out of their pocket and doing right, I don't think that's right. I don't. I just don't think I do not either. Yeah, that's not cool. Definitely not. Not looking from my point of view where I had a baby daddy that wasn't shit, you know, and I see my homeboys and stuff, like, they doing all they can, and they baby mama just want to take. Like, that ain't cool.
A couple of comments. Giovanni says, "Y'all, why don't social service do investigation on people who's getting put on child support? It's like anyone who files child support, they get accepted." Now, that's something that we do not know about due to the fact that we are not a part of social services. That is completely up to that state and that law, because we don't know why they should. We don't know why they don't. But I can't explain it, nor can I really talk about it. Okay, Rice.
Once again, go back to your state laws, do your research so you can know what's right and what's wrong.
Okay, K. Rice said, in y'all's opinion, do you really think the state laws / social services are truthfully concerned of the welfare of the child? What should be the standard in which the parents' rights are yielded? Oh, okay. In terms of the state laws and the social services, that is, not in my opinion, based off of the individual that's involved. Now, of course, there are people, regardless of wherever you work or wherever you are in the world, you got those assholes. You got those purity assholes that really don't care. They just like, okay, we're going to get this job done and we're going to get paid. That's it. They don't care about who's involved, who gets hurt. They really don't. That is my opinion of that. But there are some people that really do have concern about the welfare of the child and believes that the child should go to the best side possible, to the best, where they believe that the best possible outcome for the child should be, whether it be with the mother or the father. Not just based on how much one makes. If one makes more than the other, one can support one better than the other, but it's also dependent on if that parent is able to raise that child properly based off of how that individual works. I can see that being a thing. Because, yeah, you could be the father and you could make $60,000 a year, but you are only at home, say, about 8 hours a day, versus the mother who makes $40,000 a year, but is at home 16 hours a day, and who has enough time to actually pick up their child and take their child to school and pick up their child from school to go to after school events and things of that nature, while the father is probably constantly not too much around. So they just as absent as the mother is, even though they're living with the father. So some social services, in my opinion, will probably see that and will probably go to the side of that and would basically work off of that and say, like, okay, you're better off with your father than your mother, in my opinion, or vice versa. But what y'all think about that?
Okay, do I think that, okay, my opinion, I think there is a small, since things have evolved, I think there's a small amount of people that care in general, from the teachers to the principals to the professors in college, and we're all the way down to social services, because I have experienced this social service experience firsthand, and it only seems as if they want to get in your business. They want to just investigate, flip every rock that they feel need to be turned over for their instance to see what's going on in your life. Not because of the child, because if, and I'm going to say this very strongly, if social services cared any ounce of any child, there will not be a lot of childs in disruptive homes if they did a thorough investigation based upon my experiences as to how nosy they get.
Yeah.
There should be no child in raggedy clothes. There should be no child in no run down, beat up home. There should be no child leaving from a messy situation to another situation and then in a brand new environment.
True.
Absolutely not.
Very true. Very true.
So no, I would say only probably 5 to 10%, and that is me being very generous when it comes to the social services having any sort of empathy, care, concern of any child.
Okay. Diamond, what's your input?
Mix. I got a lot of friends that work with CPS. So I have a lot of close friends that work with CPS. So I mean, I got mixed feelings. Just because my friends are concerned, don't mean that their coworkers are concerned. The next person concerned, the supervisor concerned. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I really don't know. I haven't ever dealt with that, or I don't personally know people that their kids have, you know what I'm saying? So that part I'm unaware of. But like the situations that I have heard of, they're not doing no girl. Like I've heard stories, man, about people child services, they come in, social services, to the school, be like, hey, we're gonna come do, investigation at your home because your child come out, they hungry, they sleeping, whatever. They come to the home, whole time the kid getting raped, all kind of stuff. They go to the home, they think everything's cool, the house clean or whatever the case may be. Parents, they got their thing where they nice when they get there. As soon as they leave, that child gets beat again or raped again or whatever. Like I've heard stories like this. Like so, it depends on that person.
That is very true.
Being one of that social worker, but it is hard.
Yeah.
That's what does. The child don't deserve that.
Yeah. So, this is about probably as much as we can get into in terms of this, because this right here is one of those topics that can go any direction, every direction, and it pretty much has in this particular episode.
Yes, it definitely did.
I really hope that anybody who's watching this finds some form of information from this. Remember, unless we said generally something for a fact, everything we said in here is basically based off of our opinion. As Shay said numerous times, depending on where you stay, look into your state laws to see exactly what it is that you need to do, or, to basically, how she says, research. Shay has said it numerous times throughout this episode. Research. Things that you need to do, things that you need to understand, because that way, by you understanding, you know exactly what it is that you need to do for your particular situation. Because like we said, every state laws are different. Like, seriously, every state law is different. Every state has a different amount. The lowest state that pays on average is Virginia at $402 per month on average. Massachusetts is the highest state, which is $1,187 a month.
How much? Illinois somewhere in there.
Yeah, Illinois is actually number 13 with $885 a month on average.
Right. See?
This is on average, based off of a scale, off of the cost of living and everything like that. You will not believe that Massachusetts is the highest one, but it is. Out of all the other states, Massachusetts is the highest. Higher than New York, higher than California, higher than Texas.
Are those current numbers that you're looking at?
I looked this up not too long ago on a website.
You said it was $1,000 something a month.
Yeah, this is on average $1,187 a month. This is
such.
What you all
Did I
have
read
together
that right?
said, how could we change
State law.
men's such?
I was reading that comment. Excuse me, but you said 1,000 something. Read that comment, but you said that 1,000, like.
That's what this is based off of average. This is based off average from a website that I seen. I don't know the full validity of this, but this is based off of something I seen, just a real quick research thing. So I don't know how true this is. Again, this is based off of a website that I seen, and I kind of skimmed through it. And picked up a little bit of pieces here and there just to see, like, okay, what is this really all about? Because of course, by me not having any kids, I've never been put on child support, so I don't know much about it. So yes, I did quick research on it as quick as I could and came across this.
I think it depends on how much the parent.
Yeah, no, it did say that. It did say that these numbers are based off of cost of living and based off of the average statistic of a mother who makes $45,000 a year and a father who makes $55,000 a year. That is what this is based off of. At least that's what I seen when I skimmed through it. But still, every state is different. Every state law is different. So again, like Shay said, research. Research. Okay. This last comment, given what you all have together said, how could we change / amend such iniquities? Oh God, I can't believe I said that right. Iniquities with the social services / state laws. I don't know, really. Shay, this might be a question more so for you.
Okay, let's see.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, the change is in Illinois. Yeah, it is. It says it's in Illinois, 20% in Illinois. That's for the first child.
Mm-hmm.
First child is 20%, and then afterwards it goes up. I think after the sixth child it goes to like 50%. Okay, it says giving what you all have to.
I lost connection.
Said, how can we? Oh. Did you lose me?
No. Y'all back. Y'all back.
Okay. All right. Sorry, K. Rice. We taking all day. Giving what you all have together said, how can we change / amend such iniquities with social service / state laws? Oh, that's an interesting question. If you want to change or even amend, it's going to be a long road ahead, and that's reality.
Mm-hmm.
Reality. The only suggestion that I can really truly give in this podcast, and this is really truly coming from the heart, is do your research. When I say do your research, I mean thoroughly do your research, because you will know with you doing your research, you will know the ins and outs of your situation and the laws that is surrounding your situation. No one will be able to tell you what you can and cannot do, because you have researched the law that was pertaining to your situation. Now, the trick side to doing that particular research is when you do that research, you can tell who is bullcrapping you and who is not bullcrapping you. Then you know how to maneuver in and out of this situation properly.
Mm-hmm.
And you know not to get yourself back into this situation. So if you're trying to get up out of here, follow the guidelines to get up out of there and go to a different area and start completely over. It's power in starting over, and avoid this mistake from here on out. Because I'm sure that's exactly what it is. It's a mistake. And when it comes to you trying to be active in your child's life by you being forcefully removed, baby, make sure you send letters to that child. Even if you got to write 2 letters, one to send to the child and one to keep for your copies. Because I guarantee you, when that baby get old enough to find out who you is and where you is, and they able to track you down and find you, you make sure you have your receipts. Like, tell them, like, baby, like, I never stopped loving you. I never stopped wanting to see what your life is about. I made sure I kept all the copies of the letters. That way, it will have that child looking like, okay, my mother forcefully removed my father out of my life, and my father wanted to keep in touch with me. My father wanted to spend every single birthday with me. It's all about making sure that baby was loved and was loved by you.
Yeah.
That's it. So nobody else matters. Whether what's going on with everybody around you, whether it be right or wrong. Priority number one is that child, and make sure you do your research so nobody can tell you right or wrong because you already know.
All right. Okay, so with that all being said, I hope you all found that very informative. I hope you don't take everything we say to heart because, like I said, all of this is mainly our opinions. And I cannot emphasize enough, just like Shay can't emphasize enough, research your laws. Research where you are. Like I said, different laws, different states, different laws, all that lovely stuff. But
True. Definitely true.
So, but before I end this episode, this is something that I do normally do when something that I know of that is tragic happens, and I do normally do this as much as I can, as best I can. So right now, I would ask everybody for a moment of silence for George Floyd, another individual who, again, was murdered. I'm gonna say that again, murdered by police up in Minnesota. And right now, I just want to have a moment of silence for him right now. All right. Okay. So with that all being said, I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. This, like I said, as we said, is a very, very touchy situation, very touchy topic. Covered it as best as we could for as while as we could, and for everything that it is. This was the good, the bad, and the ugly. It was more so bad and ugly than good. But hey,
I can speak on the good. I can definitely speak on the good.
Okay.
Okay.
So
before we wrap up,
yes.
Okay, the good part of being on child support is this, because I'm not on child support. However, I dealt with a bunch of situations legally where people was on child support. Okay, I have came across situations where child support was managed properly. Okay, I have also came across situations where child support was tracked. I also have came across situations where the child himself then had bank accounts to where child support was directly sent to the child. Okay,
Yep.
So child support is not all bad. However, we do highly apologize for everything that a person has done to you when it comes to the bad side of child support.
Yeah.
But you have literally full control. If you are the person that's giving child support, please make sure you put it in some type of court order that, hey, I need a bank account in my child's name. So child support payments can go directly to that child's account. That way you done already set your baby up. It's all about setting your baby up.
Yeah.
Because if you a parent that is stay here and pulled out student loans, do you want your baby to go out here and put out student loans and you on child support? You don't want that. You don't want that because everybody knows it's hell trying to pay your bitches back. Period.
Yes, it is.
So yes, it's a good thing. It's all about how you can take control of it. Dads, you do got rights. I'm so tired of dads sitting up here talking about I don't have my rights, I don't know my rights. Baby, you got rights. It's all about you doing your research. Once again, do your research. It's not about just you doing your research, educating yourself. Period. Because if your child gets jammed up in this situation, you can already directly tell them, hey, this way you need to go, this what you need to do. Period. Point blank. Period.
Okay. All right. So as that on that last note, we're going to go ahead and end the episode right now. So thank you all for watching. Appreciate you all tuning in. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. If you're new to the channel, we're here every Tuesday and Thursday, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, with topics like this, whether they be good, bad, or ugly, or in between. You never know. If you have any topic ideas, feel free to put them in the comments below. I do check the comments on a regular basis to see if there's anything new or fresh that any of us that if you guys want to talk about it, we can talk about it. This show is mainly about y'all, not about us. It's about y'all that's watching, because we can't do the show without y'all watching. So again, I want to thank you all again. Please remember, share this video, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to get notified every time we go live. Ladies, anything else that you guys want to talk about? Or anything else you want to say closing out? Oh, that's your cousin. All right. Well, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for subscribing. Like I said, we are here twice a week, every Tuesday and Thursday, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. For those of you who don't know what Central Standard Time is, just look up Chicago's time. Basically it. Hey, we already know that everybody not that smart. But
I want to thank.
Okay.
Shout out to Ronnie for coming with the conversation, because it was actually her and her husband Kay Rice's idea to do the child support thing. So I hope everything that we gave you guys tonight, whether that be a hypothetical situation or a realistic situation, I hope everything works out for you guys. Remember, do your research, everybody. That's even in here, whether you old or new, do your research. Because people can tell you whatever when they don't know what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm. All right, Diamond, you got anything?
Nothing. It was a great conversation. I learned a lot. With like the comments with Kay Rice and Giovanni. Like I definitely learned a lot, especially with me kids with child for years. Glad that's overweight.
All right. Well, with that being said, again, thank you all for watching. And as always, remember, stay insightful. Peace.
Peace.